Hello everyone, Dr. Kelly here for our new Wellness Wednesday topic this month, which is Kick the Sick. So we specifically picked this topic for September because it's right along with the back to school sick season. So we've already had lots of calls coming in with those kiddos being sick. As parents, we've all been there. It's 2 a.m., your child's burning up with a fever, coughing constantly, or complaining of an earache. You're totally exhausted, you're worried, you're unsure what to do next. Should you rush them to the emergency room? Should we call the pediatrician first thing in the morning? Or should we just try to tough it out at home with some home remedies? Well, in today's world, where 40% of school-aged children suffer from at least one chronic health condition, these scenarios are all too common. From asthma and allergies to ADHD and digestive issues, our kids face an unprecedented array of health challenges. And let's face it, it's stressful for the parents too, right? While over-the-counter medications might help manage symptoms, they have side effects and don't address the root causes. Fortunately, emerging research shows that a key to resolving chronic immune challenges can actually be found in the autonomic nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve coordinates the complex interplay between our immune regulation and our metabolic functions through neurological communication. When there is interference or dysregulation within the nervous system's function, called subluxation, one of the first bodily systems that's negatively affected is the vagus nerve, and thus its communication with the immune system. Think of your child's immune system as a highly sophisticated security team, constantly on guard against invaders like bacteria, viruses, and other harmful pathogens. At its core, the immune system has two main components. One is our innate immunity. This is the body's first line of defense, including physical barriers like skin and mucous membranes, and general immune responses that attack any foreign substance. Number two is our adaptive immunity. This more specialized response develops over time as the body learns to recognize and fight specific pathogens. But here's where it gets interesting, and where the FFWC doc's approach differs from the conventional medicine. We recognize that the immune system doesn't operate in isolation. It's intricately connected to other body systems, particularly the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve. This connection is crucial for maintaining what we call immune system balance. Immune system balance refers to the equilibrium between the two different types of immune responses, our Th1 and Th2. Th1 responses fight intracellular pathogens like viruses, while Th2 responses target extracellular threats like parasites and allergens. In a healthy immune system, these responses are balanced. However, when this balance is disrupted, it can lead to various health issues, from frequent infections to allergies and chronic immune challenges, which is what we often see in our offices. So that's all for this week, but if you'd like to follow along with us on this topic, please tune in next week as Dr. Alex dives deeper into the vagus nerve. Otherwise, feel free to call us, text us, or DM us if you have any other questions. Otherwise, have a great day.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. We are going to continue our talk about kicking the sick, but today specifically we are going to talk about the vagus nerve. So super exciting stuff, and if you've been following us for a while or been into the office, you have definitely heard Dr. Kelly and I talk to you about the vagus nerve, what it does, and why it is so important. But if not, today we're going to dive into it. So let's start off with, what is the vagus nerve? So the vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in the body, extending from the brainstem all the way to the abdomen. So it is literally that brain-gut connection. But what does it do? It coordinates that parasympathetic, or that rest-digest activity, which opposes the sympathetic, or that fight-or-flight activity. So it literally calms the body. This is key for calming the nervous system and getting out of that always stressed state. So this nerve controls functions like digestion, heart rate, immunity, stress response, and so much more. And 75% of all the nerve fibers that stimulate that relaxation travel along the vagus nerve, which is why it is absolutely indispensable for activating healing and recovery. Disruptions along this pathway can often lead to systemic breakdowns in metabolic, inflammatory, and neurotransmitter balance. The nerve is the connection between the nervous system and the immune system, which is why it is super important for Kick the Sick, and why we're talking about it today. So when the nervous system functions optimally, it helps to maintain that critical immune balance I mentioned earlier. So this brings us to a concept called the perfect storm, or a cascade of events or factors that can disrupt your child's nervous system, your nervous system, immune system, and potentially set the stage for chronic health issues. So, factors that contribute to the perfect storm can include maternal stress, birth intervention, early or frequent antibiotic use, poor nutrition, environmental toxins, and chronic stress. These elements contribute to subluxations, which are known to interfere with the nervous system and can disrupt the ability to maintain that immune balance, which affects the vagus nerve. So, long story short, we don't want interference in that vagus nerve so that the body can start to heal and function as best as possible, which is why it is so important and why we talk about it all the time. If you've never heard about the vagus nerve before, now you have, and now you know why it is so important to us as neurological-based chiropractors. So if you want to hear more about our Kick the Sick series, tune in next week. Dr. Kelly will be bringing you more great information. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wellness Wednesday, everyone. We are continuing our conversation this month on the link between the vagus nerve and the immune system. And today we're going to talk about vagus nerve dysfunction's role in inflammation, immune function, and our immune response. So when the vagus nerve cannot effectively moderate inflammation, it leads to numerous vagus nerve disorders. Research reveals that anything that damages our vagus nerve fibers can actually hinder their ability to release acetylcholine, which is the neurotransmitter that signals immune cells to restrain cytokine production. Common culprits that reduce our vagus nerve transmission include diabetes, viral infections, stress, medications, surgery, and actual physical trauma. While those are more commonly known triggers of vagus nerve dysfunction, far more overlooked causes include physical damage and injury to the vagus nerve via birth interventions, such as forceps, vacuum extraction, induction, and C-section births. Additionally, research now confirms that excessive stress and other issues during the critical windows of fetal development in utero can greatly interfere with the initial development of the vagus nerve and our autonomic nervous system, setting the stage for all sorts of issues later on in life. Collectively, this creates a perfect storm where the function of the vagus nerve is actually disrupted and interfered with. When the vagus nerve dysfunction, subluxation, and dysautonomia set in early on during a child's development, all sorts of neurodevelopmental and autoimmune issues can occur. Over months and years, systemic inflammation fuels oxidative damage, tissue degeneration, and chronic disease processes. Sustained high cytokine levels interfere with insulin signaling, metabolism, mood regulation, and cardiovascular function. By addressing the root issue instead of chasing all of those symptoms, the vagus nerve can resume its proper role in managing inflammation, balance our immune signaling, and the intricate multi-system approach to the appropriate immune response. So that's all we have time for today. Make sure to keep following us because next week Dr. Alex is going to talk about repairing that vagus nerve response. And as always, if you have questions, please feel free to drop us a DM, and we hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our last Wellness Wednesday of our Kick the Sick series. Today I want to talk to you about restoring the vagus nerve function and what this means for the future of your child's health. So often we take isolated steps to fight inflammation or sickness, meaning if our kid has an ear infection, we take an antibiotic or an Advil for pain from inflammation. But what we should be doing is looking at restoring the body's inflammatory response and being preventative instead of stuck in the cycle of reactivity. So how do we do that? We look at the HRV to assess vagus nerve tone and the parasympathetic function, so that rest-digest function. After this, we measure the severity of the dysfunction, and we create custom care plans to restore interference along that vagus nerve and the pathways that it influences. So as the vagus nerve communication improves, patients tend to see better digestion, better quality of sleep, better immune response, better mental health, and overall physical health as well. So when that perfect storm is calmed, your ability to heal and regulate and thrive kicks in. What does this mean for the future of our children? It means that we stop suppressing the body's signal to temporarily relieve symptoms until the next round hits, and instead we're proactive. We measure the body's HRV and thermal scans often. We stimulate the vagal pathways to restore nervous system function and resolve reoccurring multi-system immune challenges. If this sounds like your child, or if you or anyone in your family has been struggling with immune challenges, you're tired of your kids missing school or catching every bug or germ that they might come in contact with, it sounds like you are ready to make a change, right? And we are here to help. We're here to help educate you and your family so we can break this cycle of immune challenges. If you have made it this far, thank you for listening and learning with us, and we will see you next Wednesday with our next topic. Have a good one.